How does a simple piece of jewelry, just a ring, become this massive cultural icon that lasts for over a century? It's really not just about the gold and the diamonds. It's about the story, the prestige, and honestly a little bit of strategic genius. So let's get into the story and the strategy behind the incredible allure of Cartier rings.
And look, you really can't even begin to talk about Cartier's prestige without starting right here. This single quote from King Edward VII, it wasn't just a nice compliment, it was basically a coronation. We're talking the early 1900s. This royal stamp of approval just cemented Cartier's status and totally set the stage for the legend it would become.
Okay, so this timeline really gives you a snapshot of Cartier's journey, right? It's all about deep history mixed with constant evolution. It starts way back in 1847. Then you see that royal seal of approval hit in 1904. That's huge. A couple decades later, boom, the iconic Trinity ring is born in 1924. And what's really interesting is that even after the family sold the business in '64, the innovation just kept rolling, leading all the way to super modern collections like the Clash. It's this perfect story of staying true to your roots while always pushing forward.
But what truly, and I mean truly, makes these rings so iconic? It's the stories that are literally forged into the gold. So let's dive in and explore the meaning, the symbolism, that gives these pieces their soul.
All right, let's start with one of the absolute classics, the Trinity ring. I mean, this is just pure poetry in metal. It's not just three cool-looking interlocking bands. Each one has a very specific meaning. You've got rose gold for love, yellow gold for fidelity, loyalty, and silver for friendship. It's a whole story about commitment, all wrapped right there around your finger.
Okay, now let's talk about the brand's spirit animal, the Panther. This fierce, elegant symbol was not just a random choice. No way. It was brought to life by the legendary creative director Jean Toussaint. And get this, her nickname was La Panthère. So she literally channeled her own bold, kind of wild energy into the jewelry. And ever since that first Panther ring dropped back in 1935, it's been this powerful emblem for the whole brand.
The Love Collection, this was such a brilliant shift into the modern era for Cartier. That famous screw design, it was absolutely revolutionary at the time. The whole idea came from the original bracelet, which, you might know, could only be opened with its own special screwdriver. So the ring carries that exact same symbolism. It's about a love that is locked down, it's permanent, it's faithful. It's kind of like a modern take on a chastity belt, but for commitment. Really radical stuff.
Just a clue. It literally translates to just a nail. Sounds so simple, right? But in the hands of Cartier, that simple phrase becomes this huge statement of rebellious luxury. It's provocative, it's edgy, and it totally sets the stage for one of their boldest designs ever. So building right on that idea, you have the Juste un Clou collection. It was designed by Aldo Cipollone back in the '70s, and what he did was just incredible. He took the most boring, everyday industrial object, a simple nail, and turned it into this extraordinary piece of high art. I mean, it's basically pop art that you can wear. It's the ultimate symbol of making the ordinary absolutely extraordinary.
Okay, so we've heard the amazing stories, but as you can imagine, that level of artistry and all that history, it comes with a pretty serious price tag. So now, let's get into the value and the really clever strategies that keep Cartier at the absolute top of the luxury world. To really get a sense of Cartier's peak value, you just have to look at this number, $30 million for one ring. And the thing is, the Sunrise Ruby wasn't just expensive because it had the Cartier name on it. It was all about the insane rarity of the gem itself, a totally one-of-a-kind blood-red ruby. It's basically a priceless piece of natural art.
And it's not just about those crazy one-off auction pieces either. These iconic rings are serious investments. I mean, just take a look at Grace Kelly's legendary engagement ring. Its value has absolutely exploded. We're talking a tenfold jump, from $4 million back in the day to an estimated $40 million today. It just goes to show, owning a piece like this isn't just about the glamour, it's a major financial asset. So how do they pull this off? Well, it's not by accident. It's a very, very deliberate strategy. First off, they carefully limit how much they make, basic supply and demand. It keeps everyone wanting one. Then they actually go out and buy back their own vintage pieces to control what's on the market and keep the value high. And of course, they never stop building those relationships with royalty and A-listers. It's a total masterclass in protecting your brand.
All right, now for something super practical. Because with prices this high, you're always going to have the problem of fakes. So the big question is, how can you tell if a Cartier ring is actually the real deal?
Okay, here are the three main things you need to look for. First, check the packaging.
Real Cartier packaging feels expensive. We're talking high-quality boxes, nice fabrics, and there should be a certificate of authenticity. Second, look really closely at the hallmarks, the stamps inside the ring. The Cartier logo, the serial number, the ring size, they should all be perfectly crisp and even. Fakes almost always mess this part up. And finally, just the quality and the feel. A genuine Cartier ring is usually 18-karat gold or platinum. It's going to feel substantial, it's going to have some real weight to it.
So, after all this, after digging into the history, the artistry, and the strategy, it really brings us back to that first question, doesn't it? What is it that transforms a simple object, like a nail or 3 bands of gold, into a timeless legend? Well, it's that perfect mix of royal history, incredibly powerful storytelling, and just this meticulous genius-level control over its own myth. And that right there is the magic of Cartier.